many people have a apprehension that, Jay, should I go for GDPR, which is CIPPE, and it's a law. I'm a non-legal person. I am slightly afraid whether I'll be able to cover this. In fact, around 65% of the people who come to my training are probably from a non-legal background as well, and majority of them had this fear, but it's something which all of them aced because the training is going to be in a way that is relatable to your day-to-day life. It's going to have a lot of practical examples, and at the end of those 24 hours, you will never feel that you completed a law related certification, right? So that's the way I drive the discussions. I break down most of the topics in a very simple way that you can relate to, right? And that means you don't need to have any prior experience. You don't need to have any prerequisite coming into my training. You just need to come and listen to my training, and you should be able to crack the certification. So that's what has happened with all those professionals who cracked the certification. Last year we helped more than 250 plus professionals to clear the certification, and it's going to be the same this year as well. So the idea here is, whenever you look at the law, you will be surprised the way the words are written. You will be slightly not comfortable, but the intent is something more important than the words being used, right? So if you are able to understand the intent of those clauses, then you are ready towards understanding the fundamentals. You need to understand why a statement like that has been written as an obligation, right? And how do you interpret it, and how do you apply this, right? So anyone who is working in a sector like program management or from risk management, completely outside the scope of data privacy, this is the best certification to start with, right? And in any journey to become a data protection officer or a data privacy manager, the best way forward is always to start with CIPPE, right? And the reason is, this is one of those certifications where you get the foundation absolutely solid, right? Any other certification for that for reason will not give you the foundation of data privacy the way CIPPE does. You could also be confused about the fact there are many other variants, right? And you might be slightly wondering which one to choose. There is one for US, there is one for Asia, there is one for Canada, right? And there is one for China. These are all certified information privacy professional, but these are different laws, different variants of CIPP. We always recommend you to go with CIPPE, which is considered as a gold standard when it comes to data privacy. And if you understand one law thoroughly, you will be able to relate to any other law. For instance, most of you are joining from India. So if you know GDPR, then automatically you can relate that to the Indian DPDP Act, right? So the crux we will learn will be easily applicable to most of the data privacy laws around the world. So that's the way you need to look at this, right? Actually, Rishi, it is vice versa. Would CAPM serve as a foundation to CAPP, or can we have it without the other? CIPPE will be an excellent foundation for CIPM or CIPP, right? But some people will feel, Jay, I have to do only one certification. Which one I would choose? Then, basis that situation, I usually give a guidance. In any given time, CIPP is the best platform to start with. But you have quite a number of years of experience, and you have decided to do only one certification. In that case, I would recommend then maybe go for CIPM. But you need to understand, CIPM certification comes with an expectation that you know the basics, correct? And you know the foundation of data privacy. That is essentially being taken care by CIPPE only. So if you want to go for CIPM alone, you can do it, but you need to take care of the basics. All right. So that's the only difference, Rishi. And this certification is a foundation layer for your day-to-day job as well. Okay. And you will be learning what you need to perform if you get an opportunity, even during your interview, right? The clarity of concepts is what going to be tested, right? So that's the most important thing. So don't be worried that you're going to learn a law, but you are going to become a champion of this law at the end of this training. All you need to bring is an enthusiasm and a focus for those 24 hours. And definitely at the end of this training, you will definitely be confident about that you have championed the most important gold standard when it comes to data privacy. So in the exam, how these questions are going to be created? Usually whenever I take the training, I tell them that think as an examiner, right? So if you are a person given the work to set up an exam question, how will you think, right? So if you start looking at this angle, you will naturally become very uh, sort of have a clear idea where to focus, right? And whatever you learn, you will know, okay, questions can be created around this, right? And you will also know how to apply them into the real world, right? So there are a lot of theory which has been there in any law, but how does it stay with us? It stays when you connect to a real world use case, correct? So when you come to the training, I bring the abundant experience for the last 13 years. Wherever I worked, implemented data privacy program, trained probably 2000 odd people so far, and all their questions I've answered, and I have bring that wealth of experience who are part of various sectors, right? So my examples will be something which you can all relate to your day-to-day work, and the learning something which you can implement into your day-to-day work as well. Okay. When you come to the training, it's not just about understanding the law. It's going to be also focused on how to prepare for the exams. So I'm going to keep both these objectives very important. So I want all my participants to pass this exam in flying colors. I would say anyone comes to my training, I give them a cutoff of 30 to 45 days. That's more than enough to crack the certification. That's been the average time for anyone to pass the certification. So in each and every topic which we take it up, we give them the focus, right? At the end of the training, we do a important exam strategy session as well. So where I tell you what are the do's and don'ts, how do you prepare for the exam, what are those important mock exams, right? So those are the real difference. You can still prepare the certification on your own. The advantage of having the training from me as a coach, I help you to know the most effective path to crack the certification, right? So I mean the same trainer, same methodology, and all those people passed my certification have undergone the same pattern, right? And it's what has worked so far. So that gives you the most effective path to crack the certification. The exam certification is a bit costly. You don't want to risk it, right? If you, for instance, if you go and check the IAPP website, you're gonna pay $550 for the exam voucher and another $250 for the certification maintenance fee. And you give the same to InfoSec train, You get the textbook, you get my training, the same exam voucher, plus your 1 year membership, everything comes together. So it's a win-win for anyone who is pursuing the certification. And whatever I said is applicable for Indian candidates. Of course, there are regional pricing which varies from country to country. That is something which you need to look at. Okay. So what people often do mistakes when it comes to CIPP exam is that they try to memorize a lot of stuff, right? Especially people are worried. They want to sort of memorize all the 99 articles, and that's something I think I'm very strong at. But I would say memorizing is not gonna be really helpful for you if you don't understand the logic and intent behind it. In exam, the questions are not only just factual questions. It's not like fill in the blanks. It's going to be application oriented where you need to apply your understanding in a given situation, right? So IAPP refines the standard of question every year. Every year, the level of difficulty also increases. They increase the benchmark. So just short-term tricks, memorizing stuff is not going to be helping you on the long run. Rather, my approach is always understand the concept, relate it to an example, and it permanently stays with you, right? A lot of people used to tell me, Jay, I used to hear your voice during the exam in a good way, because they once hear the concept being broken down with a simple example, it stays with them, right? And when you go to the exam, the same concept is going to be evaluated in a form of scenario question, and if you recollect what I gave an example, and it automatically makes it much easy for you to crack that question, right? So you don't memorize article number. For example, there are few questions intentionally kept. Let's say according to article 30 of GDPR, what is not mandated for a processor? So when you read this question, probably people will start panicking, right? Because the question is intentionally not revealing what is it about. So some people argue for this reason you need to memorize article number. But I still say remembering article 99 articles, you can put your brain for better use rather than just memorizing those 99 articles. In this case, my approach is look at the four answers and automatically you will understand the context of the question. The moment you understand the context, then you will be able to answer that question with ease. So in this case, what you need to know is what are the mandatory information to be maintained in a controller records of processing activity and processors records of processing activity. We call it as ROPA, right? And if you understand why it is two different sets, then automatically it becomes just a matter of applying those concepts, right? So prefer a understanding of concepts over memorization. When you are in an exam mode, there are high chances you will panic. Your memory will not help you at that time, but your conceptual clarity will definitely help you, right? So that's my style in terms of the training program, where once you break down a law and a clause into simple statements and relate it with examples, then it is going to be much easier for you. These are the various certifications which are there in data privacy. CIPP is what we are discussing now, which is about different laws, right? And which is specifically we are focusing on GDPR, which is called as CIPPE. There is one more variant which is called as CIPM, which is Certified Information Privacy Manager, which is at a level of leading a data privacy program for an organization. you will be end-to-end responsible for building a program from scratch or operationalizing a existing program. CIPT is a variant which is specifically catering towards technologists. If you want to stay on the technology side of the horizon, for example, you want to be a privacy architect, or you are an organization where you are building solutions, tools, softwares, embedding privacy by design, so then you can go for CIPT. The last is IAPP FIP, which is Fellow of Information Privacy. It's one of the highest recognition in the domain of data privacy. If you complete CIPP plus CIPM or CIPT, any two of the certification, but what is mandatory here is definitely CIPPE, right? So if you finish two of the three certifications and you have experience criteria, then you can apply to become a member of FIP. It's one of the most respected recognition in the domain of data privacy. All right. So I do have it, and I have helped so many people who have joined my training, right, to get this FIP. And majority of them, whoever comes to one of my training, they complete more certification variant from my end. So what do you learn from this course? You will learn the various European data protection law, primarily focusing on GDPR. We will discuss all the nuances of the GDPR law, and we will also discuss about the application of GDPR. Okay. So the exam is around 90 questions, out of which 75 are scored, and you are given 2.5 hours, and you need to score 300 out of 500. The scoring starts from 100. So the scoring range is between 100 to 500, and you are required to get a score of 300. So the exam syllabus is given by IAPP, and the content that we will be discussing during the session is also prepared by IAPP. The textbook, which is the primary literature, will also be given part of the course. So you're going to get an official training package when you enroll through Infosec Train. As I told you, if you independently try to take the certification, you will end up paying almost the same cost, right? So that's a big win-win for you if you enroll this, because IAPP is giving us at a subsidized package for a partner. Why CIPP? It actually considered as a gold standard, right? You can check yourself if you apply for any interview. You can see the qualification criteria. You will always see CIPPE there. Although in India you have a different data privacy law, but still CIPPE is mentioned there. Even in US as well. Although US has its own law, CIPP US, but still CIPP has that recognition to be considered as a gold standard. So that is the reason I would say, whichever part you are, wherever client you are working for, I would strongly recommend you to start your data privacy journey with CIPPE. That gives you the excellent platform to launch yourself into this data privacy. So that's the opportunities there, and right now as we speak, there are 30 to 40 set of countries who are bringing up the law or have already started the law, and they are at the stage of enforcement. Especially Middle East, India, there is a lot of traction that you can expect very soon, right? So this is one of the best time to be there, part of the data privacy and the artificial intelligence journey, right? So both these spectrums, if I would say, one has to invest in either of the skill, either data privacy or artificial intelligence governance. It can fetch you a lot of reward for the next 5 to 7 years.